creative living, utilizing today's technology with the best of the past to bring you innovative ideas and up-to-date information for creative lifestyles in today's active world. With your host, Sheryl Borden.
Laura, you must enjoy doing crafts and coming up with ideas, because that's really what your blog and your business is all about, is taking things that are on the market and teaching the rest of us how to do it.
Right. I like to save people a little bit of money and kind of bring back the whole idea of home arts and doing things yourself.
Mm-hmm. And the simpler the better, I think, for most of us, don't you?
That's right. I have a 4-year-old and I'm trying to run a business, so I try to keep it simple.
I see. Well, and everyone's into recycling and not wasting things, and I think this actually falls into that category, because what we're talking about is making, and you call it fantasy candy.
Yes.
Which, this is so pretty. You made a little garland. You're going to actually show us how to do this. But normally we would use those little purchased candies that are kind of expensive if you have to buy a lot of them.
And, you know, if you used real candy, it wouldn't last. But you could do this and hang it in your daughter's room, and she could have it for years.
And other ideas, you say to decorate little gift bags with 2 or 3 of them.
Right.
That's a good idea. And I love this little wreath.
It's a yarn wreath. You can use these as embellishments for projects, wreaths. You could put them around a photo frame, all kinds of things. And they're so simple to make. You can make yourself a supply, and whenever the mood strikes.
Then when you need them, you've got them done. And this is what we're using. And you know, this we might explain to people, if you've received those wonderful gift baskets, either from the florist or from friends, that cellophane type material.
Right.
But this has other advantages, doesn't it?
Right. This is called Fantasy Film. It's by a company called Art Glitter, and it's very similar to the cellophane, and it comes in nice rolls. They also have it in larger rolls now.
Oh.
And when you hit it with a heat gun, it kind of shrinks up a little bit and gets really shiny, and I wouldn't say hard, but it gets a bit more stiff than it is here. So they even make butterfly wings on their website and things like that for little kids out of this.
And so we can go to their website. What is it?
Yes, artglitter.com.
Artglitter.com. Okay, that'll be fun. So how do we start?
Well, first you start by cutting I'm going to use a 1-inch candy. I think you could make huge ones if you wanted a Willy Wonka look to your party or something, and get a big one. But for a 1-inch ball, you would cut about a 4-inch square of the fantasy film. It's pretty handy because it's 4 inches wide, so you just have to cut 4 inches. At that point, then, you wrap it just like you would a candy, the 1-inch ball. It's a little bit slippery.
Sometimes you need an extra hand.
Yeah, and you just twist it really tight. And it looks really cute even just like this. But if you want to get this really shiny, almost hand-blown glass look, you're going to want to hit it with a heat gun. This is kind of the dangerous part, because you are using styrofoam, and we're going to hit it with some heat. So we want to.
Is this like could we use a blow dryer? Or
you could use a blow dryer. You could also, if you're a little bit nervous about melting the styrofoam, you can use a wood bead. Just make sure that you put the hole of the wood bead where you'll be able to later thread through.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
So you would use a skewer. Normally I would use a wood skewer, but the airlines won't let me carry wood skewers on the plane anymore. So you want to get something just so that you're not going to burn your fingers.
Oh, I see. Safety.
And very quickly you just heat it with a heat gun. And you can see
it does start getting shinier.
And that's really as much time as you need. If you take any longer, you're going to start having the styrofoam melt, which can be make it scary.
So the styrofoam would melt, not the film.
That's right.
Interesting.
Just the styrofoam. Because a lot of people will stamp on this film or use it in journal pages and things, and they'll hit it until some holes burn and it curls up to give it a very textural look.
And you said you can even sew on this?
You can sew on it too.
How have people used it for sewing?
A lot of people right now in the mixed media world are sewing, you know, like cards and paper, but they're sewing it. You could also do a decorative quilt with it, something that it can't, they say it can get wet. It probably, I don't know about going through the washing machine.
Yeah. But something you would maybe hang
right.
where it's not going to get dirty. Now, how do you thread these so that you make a wreath out of them?
Well, I usually take some embroidery thread, and you can just use a regular needle. An upholstery needle is nice because those are much longer. Not the end of your embroidery thread.
Are you using all 6 threads?
I'm using 3 here.
3.
For this one, I use 6. It just depends on how sturdy you want it to be.
Oh, okay.
And I always start with a fantasy candy first. And you just easily, it goes right through.
So it goes right through that styrofoam.
No
pretty
problem.
Easily.
And bring it down to the knot. And then I got some pretty candy colored beads.
And these are in craft stores everywhere, aren't
yeah,
they?
big
or an old
buckets
necklace you have that broke. This might be a good way to use them.
That would be a great way. You can also, if you don't want it to last a long time, you can use those candy necklaces that you can get at candy stores. And so you'll be interspersing real candy with the fake candy.
That might be a fun project for kids to do. They could be eating a few as they made it.
It will, as long as they remember that these aren't to be eaten.
You're right.
Remember, I have a 4-year-old. I know how they work.
These things.
And so you just keep beating until you get the like you want, the look you want. You keep interspersing.
And there's no rhyme or reason as to how many beads go in between each of the fantasy candies. It's just whatever you want.
No, it's really your aesthetic.
Well, Laura, thank you so much. I think we're all always looking for quick crafts and things that maybe we can do with our kids or with youth groups, and this one certainly fits the bill. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.